Hello everyone, my name is Karl Hoffmann and I'm COO and co-founder of CleverConnect. And today we're diving into one of the most powerful yet often underutilized recruitment tools, employee referrals. Throughout this masterclass, we will share how to roll out employee referrals successfully in your organization and bring some light into tips and tricks how to make it a big success. Referral programs are one of the most oldest yet very efficient recruitment channels. It is said that already Julius Caesar was recruiting his soldiers by paying them a reward for recruiting people into his army. So nowadays, referrals are more relevant than ever because companies are not trying to win people who just fit to their skills. It has become even more important that you find talent who fit culturally into your teams. And the big benefit of referrals is that people make a recommendation knowing that the skills are given and that those people also fit very well into your organization. It is said that when you are able to hire a big proportion of your recruitments through employee referrals, it has a very positive impact on basically all of your recruitment KPIs. And I think there are a couple of interesting KPIs which support this. So when we look at the quality of hire, candidates who have been referred are 5 times more likely to be hired. When we look at the retention of employees in your organization, 45% of people who come into your organization through referrals stay within your company for more than 4 years. And when we look at the time to hire, on average, it takes a company to recruit a position in 39 days versus when you recruit people through referrals, it only takes 21 days. And last but not least, if we look at the cost side of things, I think this is a very obvious argument. You have a strong variabilization of cost. So you only need to pay a referral fee when the candidate is hired. And when you compare the fee you pay to an employee, which is around 1,000 euros, and you compare it with 30% of a salary that you would pay to a headhunter, you can also achieve a big amount of big cost savings in your organization. So why now? Why are employee referrals more important than ever? The whole market is shifting to passive candidates. And we recently at CleverConnect conducted a study that showed that 82% of the market consists of passive people. So people who are not actively looking for a job, but who need to be found. And this requires a shift of recruitment tools in your organization. And employee referrals are a very smart way how you can proactively get in touch with a target group you can otherwise not identify through other recruitment channels, because often these people are in hidden talent pools. And using employee referrals allows you to tap into the network of your employees and taking advantage of their knowledge to getting in contact with people who have usually a very strong cultural fit and to fit very well to the skills you're looking for in your job offer. So why do I love to speak about employee referrals? So before I joined CleverConnect as COO, I founded a company myself called Talentry. And with Talentry, we created the first digital employee referral program in Europe. That was back in 2012, so almost 13 years ago. And the reason why we did this was that we really loved the experience of employee referrals on the candidates. So when we were looking for a job as co-founders, we always like to speak with other people who were already performing the job, because those natural experience could transport emotions a lot more better than a job ad. And so with creating Talentry, we wanted to make sure that more and more people can actually benefit from a great candidate experience through employee referrals. And now when we fast forward 13 years later, we can proudly say that we have consulted several hundred companies in Germany and France on introducing employee referral programs. And we can see that in all cases, we have actually achieved that they were successful in creating a referral culture and positively impacting all of their recruitment KPIs. So when we talk about employee referral programs, we talk about a structured process, because let's be honest, employee referrals happen almost every day. They happen naturally. But when we talk about employee referral programs, we really think about how can you set up the system in a very structured way. So when you're planning to launch an employee referral program in your organization, it's important to align your strategy among 3 pillars. Pillar 1 is the pillar of establishing clear guidelines and clear communications. Obviously, your employees need to know what you're expecting from them, and also who is eligible for a position or not, so that they know which process they are actually needing to follow. Then the second pillar you need to be sure about is the pillar of incentivization. How do you make sure that your employees are incentivized to actually perform a referral or not? And the third pillar you need to think about is how can you track it successfully? So it's about collecting data and KPIs, and also thinking about what kind of technology you use to roll out your employee referral program and make it trackable. Let's put some meat on the bone. How do we actually manage to make employee referrals a big success in your organization? And obviously, it all starts with creating a strong referral culture, which is not easy. But there are several elements you should consider when you think about how you could build a referral culture in your organization. Now, I think there's a trap when you want to build a referral culture, which is that you are creating anxiety among your employees, that they're afraid of submitting a referral. You don't need to do this. Employees know very well who's a good fit or not, and you rather need to reduce the barriers of submitting a referral and communicating it very clear to your employees that they will not be held accountable when someone doesn't fit the requirements, as also those referred candidates go through a normal HR interview. And once you have reduced those burdens and you collect a lot of referrals, it's important that you celebrate them with your teams. So sharing success stories within your organization and sharing those great KPIs that you've been able to achieve by introducing employee referrals is something that really helps then to build a high acceptance among all of your employees, and making sure that they understand the value of it and make it a win-win for themselves and for you as the organization. So let's go through the list of actions you need to implement in your organization to make employee referrals a success. So the first element is that you need to create very clear guidelines for everyone, and you should be sure to not change them a lot throughout the system, because this will lead to disengagement of your employees and this will cause frustration. So think about beforehand, what is your incentive policy? Do you pay out a reward at the beginning when a person is hired or after probation period? Create a high level of transparency around rewards. Make sure that you communicate who's eligible to refer a candidate or not. In many organizations, for instance, the HR team and also the hiring managers are excluded from the reward policy. But make sure that you communicate this beforehand, because when people find out afterwards, it will lead to frustration and a lower acceptance rate within your organization. Step 2 is that you set clear objectives for your referral program, and you also communicate around those objectives. Let me give you some insights on what we learned over the past years. We found out that people are usually not doing a referral because they get money for it. You cannot buy referrals. It's not working. People are usually driven by contributing to a purpose that this program is having. And so when you implement referrals, make sure that you align the objectives with the purpose. So do you want to hire in a specific target group? And when you cannot hire those people, the business cannot grow in a certain direction. Or do you want to increase diversity because you want to have maybe a certain employee group more in your company? Make sure that you are very transparent about the objectives and goals, and that you onboard your employees on those objectives and goals and be transparent about them, because this is what's driving engagement in the long run. Step 3, train and collaborate with key teams. So making referrals a success is a team sport. It doesn't only work when the HR department is performing this alone. And once you have set up the right level of objectives, try to break them down to other parts of your organization. So for instance, when you want to recruit more IT people, make sure that the person who's running the IT department is onboarded, and you hold that person accountable for making sure that a big amount of his team members are actually registering for the referral program, and that this person is communicating this system over and over again to make sure that people understand that it's part of their job and part of their business priority. Make sure that you measure this consistently and that you hold the managers accountable for achieving their target. Step 4 is that you search and find the tools you need to support your employee referral program. So when you're a very small organization, it works pretty well with word of mouth. You can just talk to people yourself and inform them which jobs you want to actually fill through referrals. But already, I would say at a small threshold of employees, if you have 100, 200, 500 employees or more, and you have several positions to fill, you need to create a good match between the jobs that need to be filled and the target group of employees who actually have the networks to fill those jobs, because no employee has time to go through a list of 100 jobs. So this is where a good software is coming into place, where the right jobs are being pushed to the right group of employees in your organization. And then also for making the referral process very easy, it's better to have an integration to social media that makes it very easy to share the job, and then also to track it later in your ATS and making sure that when an application is coming in, you know exactly that this application came in through a certain employee, you know the reward that needs to be paid out, and you can basically automate the whole referral process. Last but not least, if you don't have a digital program in place, it also remains very difficult to actually measure it. So this is why I think when you're already 500 employees, you should always introduce an employee referral program with a digital solution in place. And step 5, this is very close to creating a referral culture and is just as important as creating a referral culture. It's about continuous engagement. So when you want to drive referrals in your organization, you need to make sure that people are always remembered in an automatic way. And we found out that the best way to actually achieve this is on one side through regular communication, that people always know which jobs you are right now looking for, through job newsletters, campaigns that are being sent out to employees, and many more ideas, but also to have those consistent engagement metrics. We found that gamification is a very powerful recruiting instrument. What do we mean by gamification? When you have gamification in place, you can make sure that employees can collect points for actions they perform within the referral process. You could assign a point for a person who is sharing a job on social media if that person has managed to receive an application through a referral. There are many ways how you can make sure that you reward employees for steps in between. Because when you only reward people for a successful hire, very often the time until the reward is being paid out is very long, 6 to 9 months. And when you have a gamification program in place, you have a continuous engagement, and people can collect points which they can later trade in into nice benefits like an Amazon voucher or a free vacation day. Okay, so after we went through the 5 steps of making the employee referral program a success in your organization, let me summarize the 3 top tips that I have to make employee referrals a big success. Tip number 1 is to communicate very loudly in the beginning. So when you think about, a pilot, even in those cases, think about how you can make a big bang rollout. We have seen companies who have even given an own brand to their employee referral programs like Triple Win or Vitamin A. And we saw that this helped those organizations to create more awareness in the organization because employees started to think about this and communicate around this. And this led to a strong word of mouth. Tip number 2 is that you think very carefully about a good incentive strategy. So don't think too much about monetary rewards because you cannot buy referrals, but think about what other incentives can you create. Maybe a person who has been referred doesn't need to go through all the interview processes. This is then also a strong motivation for your employee to actually do this referral because they are motivated to help their friend. Or you could think about informing employees first before you are publishing the job on all the other recruitment channels, so that the friends of the employees have a kind of personal advantage because they don't need to compete with all the rest of the talent market. So there are a couple of creative ways that you can think about and be smart in that way to create strong incentives. And number 3, that's I think very important, is that you think about a good measurement and good KPIs of your program. This will also allow you to explain the success of your program to your top level management, and also then get a strong buy-in to make sure that you can push employee referrals among all the different locations and departments you have in your company. To sum up, a well-implemented employee referral program can help you to hire top talent faster at lower cost with a strong cultural fit. Start by building a clear process, make sure that you set up the right incentive and reward strategy, and make sure that you keep everything measurable so that you have a good KPI framework in place and that you track this over time and make the necessary adjustments to refine it. So I can promise that if you follow the 3 pillars we have been introducing today, you have nothing to lose, and your referral program, whether you launch a new one or just optimizing the old one, will become a big success in your organization. So start launching or revamping your referral program today, and now it's up to you. Thank you for tuning into this masterclass. And when you have additional questions, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn. And keep in mind, there are vendors out there who have created strong referral programs out of the box. And one of them is our company, CleverConnect. So when you don't want to set up everything yourself and think about all the strategy and pillars, and you want to have a bit more of consulting and software that is helping you to track everything, make sure to reach out to us, and then let's make your referral program a big success together.